Well, good evening. And thank you so much for taking the time to participate in one of our campus groups here at the campus church. We love to see our community engaging in this way and connecting with one another and ultimately connecting with God together. This week we have concluded our What If series with Pastor Laird. And I trust that you've enjoyed this challenging series as we've looked particularly at 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14. And if you can read along with me, it says there, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and heal their land." Now, as we reach the end of the series, I would like to challenge us as groups to spend some extra time in prayer this week. Please go through the questions and reflect with each other on the answers that you might have and each other have for these questions. But this week especially, spend a little more time in prayer, taking some of these reflections and answers specifically to God. I mean, if you normally reserve 10 minutes at the end of your time together for prayer, spend 20 minutes this time in prayer. If you take half an hour, maybe you want to even take a full hour to pray. Prayer is so important, and this is a really important call that we have as the church, and something that we want to put an emphasis on within our campus group ministry as well. I think you get the point. So spend extra time this week in prayer. I do want to leave you though with a brief thought and quote from a well-known and revered theologian and pastor, Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Dietrich Bonhoeffer was a German pastor, theologian, spy, and anti-Nazi dissident. I've been reading his biography over the past couple of weeks, and there's two particular quotes that I'd like to share. These quotes both encouraged and challenged me. As I read them, they jumped off the page and have kind of stuck with me and have had a lot to do with the message that we've been hearing from Pastor Laird, and I've been able to put them into practice kind of as I've been listening to those messages as well. He first takes us back to Pastor Laird's message on humility. Let me read this first quote for you. "It is much easier for me to imagine a praying murderer, a praying prostitute, than a vain person praying. Nothing is so at odds with prayer as vanity." That one hit home. And certainly as we're hearing Pastor Laird's message on humility, we need to humble ourselves before we go into that time of prayer. So I encourage you to just look within before we go into that time of prayer as a group this evening. Are you humbling yourself before the Lord and coming humbly with your requests and prayers? The second one is one that definitely jumped off the page, and I think speaks to why we put an emphasis on prayer and why it is so important for us as a church to pray together and to take these kinds of prayers and pray them together. And this quote is this: "Where people praise, there is a church, and where the church is, there is never loneliness." Prayer is important. Prayer holds the church together. Are we being the church? Are we praying regularly? So let's be the church. Community of Christ followers learning to love and to serve God and people. I hope you have a fantastic time together of sharing and, most importantly, prayer.